Aloha everybody, John with you, and welcome back to my channel. And it is time for a Hawaiian record update. These are Hawaiian records to add to my collection that I have purchased over the past several months that would not have been included in the earlier collection, Hawaiian collection videos. So let's take a look at what I have gotten. First up is actually a Hawaiian album from the Philippines. It's always been quite expensive when I've seen it, and this one time I saw it was not so bad, so I snatched it up because it was a buy it now. Blue Hawaii, the artist is Nora Aunor, and it's I mean, what can you say? It's fine. It's nothing to be really excited about. I'm going to guess this is from the 70s. I don't know. But she's doing all this sort of standard Hapa songs. And then Can't Help Falling in Love, the Presley song, the Presley song, Elvis Presley, and Cupid. That's her right there.
On a moonlight swim. Let's go on a moonlight swim. To the raft we can race, and for just a little while I'll sit and pretend that you're down there on the aisle with me.
On Alpha Records. Now, next up, an Exotica album. Kind of interesting story behind this one. I got it used, and the copy they said was not the greatest, so I wasn't expecting it to be the greatest, and it was a little bit scuffed up, and a couple of the songs are kind of scratched on it and not necessarily usable for broadcast, but I just was happy to get, it was kind of inexpensive. And that is this album called Don Telling's Island Mysteries. As you can see here, and on the front it is sort of scuffed up and whatnot. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong about this. From what I understand now, and maybe even the person selling this didn't know it, is that this album was released a couple of years ago, and you can see the one label part looks fine. On the back, the label looks like it looks and feels like it's water damaged. I don't know if you can really see that. But, yeah. Well, apparently this was done intentionally, and I guess, from my understanding, this album was intentionally sort of made scuffed up looking and was released in thrift stores. It was actually put into thrift stores so that it would be like this surprise for people coming and looking for records. They're like, oh my God, and thinking it was like some old record nobody knew about that they had discovered at a thrift store. That's what I've heard. I don't know, because I didn't discover it in a thrift store. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting. It's Exotica. I kind of really like some of the arrangement. Bali High is a really nice arrangement on here, but I like it. And I'm going to keep an eye out to maybe get another, maybe I don't know, one that isn't scratched somewhere. Next up, okay, so maybe you're familiar with the group Santo and Johnny, which was a brother act from the United States, from New York, that had a huge hit with a song called Sleepwalk, steel guitar. They played steel guitar songs, pop music. I mean, they did a couple Hawaiian theme albums, but basically they did many records, and it was pop music done on a Hawaiian guitar, but in a real modern way at the time. And they spawned, of course, imitation groups across the world. I did a video on that, but these records were part of that too. These are new acquisitions. One of the groups in Italy is called John and Jerry, the Hawaiian Guitars of John and Jerry. I have a couple of their records, and I got a volume 2, because I think it's 1 and 3 I have. So I got volume number 2, and it sounds amazingly similar to volume 1 and volume 3. GTA, not sure there's a year on this, no. But anyway. Yeah, They make me laugh. Now, there's another group that I just discovered recently from Italy also, a Santo and Johnny imitation group called Django and Bonnie, which really made me laugh because I think that's Django Reinhardt and Bonnie Guitar. They're naming themselves after, making you think of guitar artists. And they did, I don't know what it is, like a dozen or so records, but I found a seller in Italy that had 4 of them quite cheaply, so I bought all 4. Because postage is kind of crazy from Italy. And they're all from the 70s, 71 through 78, the ones I have. And they're all very, very similar. Romantic guitar, I don't know how you would say that. I'm not going to try and speak Italian. But again, these are all pop songs played on steel guitar, like in a pop manner. These guys are nice. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that the steel guitarist, Django and Bonnie, whichever one it is that's playing the steel guitar, I think is the same, steel guitar player as Chon and Jerry, the record that we just showed you. It's just these, I think Django and Bonnie records are a little bit more elevated in terms of orchestral accompaniment and background. It's a little more arranged, a little more rehearsed, a little, I'm going to say, better sounding, or less raw sounding. Some of the John and Jerry's pretty raw, I think. I love the backs of these too when they show the color, the different record albums that they have. These are on Joker, which is a budget label out of Europe. The titles of the records are all the same, except it's like volume 1 and volume 5 and volume whatever. But yeah, it was interesting to discover another Santo and Johnny imitation group and keep an eye out for some reasonably priced music of theirs in the future. Couple Tahitian records now. This one is Otui Tui Tahiti Nui, featuring Manuia and Maeva, who are 2 lovely ladies we'll see pictured on the back. And this is them singing some pop songs and folk songs. And it's okay. It's not like an amazing record that I'm going to listen to over and over again, but, it's okay. Tahiti Records. And then secondly, Hotel Bali High Entertainers from Moorea Island, Tahiti. Bali High is the name of the record. The best thing about this record is the cover. Cover is glossy, beautiful pictures, love it. The music, again, is just okay to me. It's not really, I've heard Tahitian music I like better than these 2 albums personally, and it's just okay, but cover is definitely one worth sort of gaze looking at, listening to music. This is on Hibiscus Records.
Greetings from the islands of Aloha. These waters are so languid and refreshing, just like the lovely music you can listen to on Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio. Let's dive into the lagoon of vintage vinyl recordings of beautiful island music. Let's listen to Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio on live365.com. The link is below in the description. Aloha.
This next one, yeah, I don't know. I've seen it several times be fairly expensive. So I saw it this one time on eBay, not quite as expensive, and I did buy it now because I was just curious to hear it. And, it's okay. Like, it's not amazing. It's not going to rock the world, but I was just curious. From Hawaii to You, Biggie, Kanae.
People shouted, scene went by, the cockeyed mare on count of
He is a singer, and side one, and this is like a live recording in a nightclub. Side one are Hawaiian songs. Side two are just, you know, easy listening, more loungy standards.
a smile, and drank a gallon of scotch to make life worthwhile. Made her laugh and he made her sigh. The cockeyed mare on count of the horse she rode was so skinny.
Art Records. I'm not familiar with that label. Then we have Roland Cazimero, Warrior. It's kind of hard to believe I didn't actually have this record yet, but I did not. So I grabbed it when I saw it. I don't remember where I saw this. Maybe at a collector's expo a little while back. I'm not sure, but I grabbed it. This is an interesting album of 1983. Really speaking as far as like Hawaiian music, it's not Hawaiian music like really sounding. It's a much more of a contemporary sound for the time period, 1983. But the theme is all compositions by Roland Cazimero, describing the story of Kamehameha the Great, who united all of the Hawaiian Islands, the first person to do that and to become the first of the Hawaiian monarchy. So this is sort of his story in songs, written and performed by Roland Cazimero. But again, like I said, they're very contemporary sounding. Here's the lyric sheet enclosed with it, which is great to have that.
This man is me. I leave myself open to new experience. I leave myself open to all life circumstance.
That is on Mountain Apple Company. Roland. Then lastly, I just got this one recently, really cute. Swinger of Waikiki. This is, you gotta love it. The picture, the title, everything. This is Maeva Kinimaka, who later on would actually become quite famous here for a song called He Aloha Mele, which is still being sung today and recorded today, and just was a massive, massive hit. And he was the first person to do that song. But this is before that. This is from California, this record, and it's actually on, what is it called? Kolopa Records. Now, Kolopa Records, interesting label if you have any of them or come across them. They are recorded in California by featuring a lot of Hawaiian artists that were living or performing on the West Coast. And you'll notice on a lot of the Kolopa records, there's several of the same songs keep popping, same songs that you've never heard of before, keep popping up on the labels, on the records. Like, what is the song, you know, Pua Nani, and what is the song My Hawaiian Home, and what is the song Ku'uhome Aloha? And then you'll find them like on other records by other artists on Kolopa Records, coming up again and again. So a lot of these musicians, you know, and this label sort of in cahoots with one another, and they were, in addition to, you know, producing these records and putting them out, helping to promote one another. So they were singing each other's you know, recent compositions and whatnot. My Hawaiian Home is a song that I really like on here that's been done by several artists. I love that song. Swinger of Waikiki is really funny. But anyway, this is a cute record. Maeva Kinimaka.
And rainbows over the valley.
And the backup group, I should say, it's a lot of the same. Again, with Kolopa Productions, a lot of the backup musicians have their own records on Kolopa. I mean, they sort of like worked with one another. So a lot of the backup musicians are featured on other albums on Kolopa Records. But this one does specifically says Maeva Kinimaka with Bernie Ka'ai Lewis and the Island Airs as the backup band. So that name might be familiar. Bernie Ka'ai Lewis with the Polynesians on Crown Records has a distinctive voice and kind of helped them have a distinctive sound. Also, the Island Airs, they did this record here, which is rather sought after and fairly rare, called Hawaiian Interlude. Well, they're the backup musicians on Swinger of Waikiki. So that's it. Those are my new acquisitions in the past several months. If you have any of them, or interested about them, or comments about them, or whatever, please leave that below. If you'd like to hear music from these and other Hawaiian records that I have a free online Hawaiian music station called Hawaiian Hi-Fi on live365.com. You can listen to that anytime, night or day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And the link will be below for that. So have a good week. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And we will see you in the next video.